Looks like I have everything set up for you guys. Hello everyone. Happy Monday. For those of you who all know, this upcoming Thursday is Christmas, so we are doing our Beyond the Traditional Camera class today instead. So, without further ado, let's jump into it. My name is Saxon. I'm your camera host. I do these classes on Thursdays, typically from 5:30 to 7. But since we have some major holidays in the next couple days, we are switching it up. So, again, just as a reminder, this upcoming week, we will not be having class on Thursday, January 1st. We will instead be doing it Monday, the 29th, so this upcoming Monday. Welcome to Beyond the Traditional Camera. So today's class is all centered around the next step in your camera evolution. A lot of people might be asking what that really means or what they should be taking away from that. But this class is meant to get us away from what we've been looking at for the last few days. On the intro to the first week, we talked about things like our just automatic settings of the camera. And then we talked about lenses, and we kind of ended on that note. In the intermediate class, we focused on aperture changes, shutter changes, ISO, other camera settings like white balance or focus area, exposure compensation. We looked at reference images and really got into the manual control. Advanced photography, we wanted to look at the last fundamental building blocks. Composition, how to then edit our photo, and what we should know if we want to get into the world of content creation. Beyond the traditional camera is about getting away from all of that. So now instead of us looking at things like photo and video that would be done with a DSLR or mirrorless, we're going to look at things that go beyond that. Action cameras, 360 cameras, drones, camcorders. These different types of equipment that might not necessarily make sense right now, but after we discuss a little bit and you think of use case scenarios, they could really help take your camera game to another level and help you achieve new content or new photos and videos that you've been aiming to get. Rather than just say that advancing past your camera is something you should do, it's important to talk about why we should advance past our camera. Start with portability and travel being the first one. They're super lightweight, durable, and easy to take around. That feeds into the fact that they are durable. They have great durability, leading into waterproofing as well. The durability allows for the fact that you can take these cameras underwater, without any additional protective housing. Oh my goodness. Without any additional housing or equipment. For those of you that are using these cameras to record video, these guys have great recording time. Depending on the mirrorless or DSLR camera that you have, you might be limited to how long you can record video for. Whether that be 30 minutes or less or more, depending on the camera and the quality. A lot of these cameras don't have a limit on your record time. And one of my favorite features, which is the ability to fly over great distances. The drones and the capability that they have as camera units are fantastic. Now, before we get into cameras and we talk a little bit more about those, it's important to also discuss the fact that we need to talk about memory cards. Memory cards are extremely important. They're what save the actual content that we have. So without a memory card, we're not getting a lot of storage, or we're not getting any storage. Micro SD cards are what we're mainly talking about when we talk about these cameras. With the exception of camcorders, all of the cameras we're discussing today use what's called a micro SD, so smaller format. Most cameras have some to no internal storage. When you're choosing a micro SD card, I highly recommend getting something with a good read and write speed. 64 gigabytes or as a minimum should be what you're looking at, but higher is always better. This way you have more storage, this way you have more storage, which is better than having less depending on what you're recording. Now your picture shouldn't live on the memory card. The whole point of the memory card is to transport the information from one device to the other. If everything you're doing starts at the memory card on the camera, every time you take a photo or shoot video, it's saving to the card. The card then is being the transfer mechanism from one device to the other. You have to remove the SD card, insert it into the computer to download the footage. To me, a memory card is like a car. If point A is your house and point B is work, the car goes in between the two to get from one to the other. And just like a camera, the memory card lives between the camera and the computer. Now, with that being said, there's a proper way to go through and save your footage and your videos without losing or damaging your card. First thing we should be doing is start by landing the drone and turning off the camera unit. If you're not flying a drone, don't worry about landing it. But once you've done this and you've turned everything off, wait about 5 seconds, ensure that everything has had the time to cool off and power down. Then go ahead and remove the SD card. Place this into a card reader, and the best practice is always to remove the card. I do recommend avoiding using the camera to send pics to and from, but I will say this much, that by doing that, it is convenient, it is easy, so feel free, if there's an app to download or something, software that you can get in order to transfer photos from one to the other, there are easy ways to do that, so it definitely is worthwhile and recommended. But I personally think the best way is to remove the card and insert that into the computer. This way you ensure that everything is being saved properly. Use a good card reader. There's a lot on the market. That doesn't mean you necessarily have to get the most expensive, but maybe stay away from some of the cheapest models. These are examples of card readers that offer various plugins or accessory options. So there's a multitude of different things that you can use for this. The next step in this process is to copy photos to a destination folder. Don't move them, but copy them. You can use Windows Explorer or Mac and Finder, and copy these to a secondary location, whether that be an external drive, Prime Photos, Google Drive. Any of those are a great option to make sure that you're ensuring there's a backup copy to the original. Make sure you properly eject the card before physically removing it. Format that card in the camera. And my recommendation is don't erase it in the reader. When you format the card, that'll erase all the photos. To show you some images, again, your backup plan starts with the memory card. From the memory card, we move into the hard drive or the computer. Once we have our images saved and copied onto the computer, we can then go ahead and save them to a secondary location. Whether that be a hard drive, whether that be a cloud service, one of the two would be fine. I do recommend, if you've never heard of one, to try a cloud-based solution. If you're someone who's interested in editing photos or videos, something like Adobe Creative Cloud is a good one to look into. If you're someone who uses Gmail, the Google Drive is fantastic. And if you're using Microsoft for work, there is the OneDrive, which also offers you the same features. Now let's go through a tour of your device, break down all the different bits and pieces of whatever your product you're interested in, and then talk about some best case scenarios or uses. GoPro and action-based cameras. So these cameras have been around for a little bit. They're extremely durable, and a lot of people know them as GoPros, but the lineup and style of camera is what we call action cam. Action cams are small, they're compact, they're portable, and they're unique in the sense of the field of view and stability that you get while using one. There are two buttons on the camera. The capture button, or the top button, that takes the photo or starts and stops your video. There's then also the power button. By holding this button down, you will power on and off the unit. You can also toggle between time-lapse photo and video through this as well. The screen is your everything when using a GoPro. The screen's going to allow you to do a lot of different system and settings changes. So frames per second, FPS, angle and lens millimeter size, the video quality, hindsight, hyper smooth, and the front screen will allow you to, will show you the video duration during a selfie mode, so you can see what you're recording and for how long. They keep it really simple. There's a different mode. So photo allows you to capture stills and frames rather than take videos. Time lapse. The video will record over a duration of time, anywhere from 30 minutes to 3 hours. Then we'll play it back within minutes or seconds. Really cool if you're doing long format videoing. And then the standard video. You can record video for whatever duration you want, whatever quality you want, and with features like hyper smooth. Here are some of the examples of what the video can look like for the GoPro or action cameras. And this is why I like the cameras. When you're looking at these videos, they're short action, they're stylized, you're seeing a point of view that is pretty unlikely, that you're unlikely to get from a big bulky camera. It's small, it's durable, it can take the water or the dirt or being thrown to the ground during this lacrosse game. It's giving you good clarity on the video, has good stability as well as you're bopping around. There are so many different reasons for why you could use an action camera. And really there are so many different ones out there. DJI makes one, Insta360, GoPro. My recommendation might be to see what ecosystem you're willing to invest in. There are so many pieces that you can pick up as time goes on from all of those companies that will make filming easier, whether that be different accessories, batteries, chargers, and so on and so forth. So find one that works and speaks to you the most, and that's what I would invest my time and effort into. But action cameras are great if you're looking to get down and dirty, but you don't want to damage a really expensive camera that you've invested in. Drones. Drones are one of the unique topics. People really love drones, and there are so many different things coming to market. There's been a lot of talk with DJI, and I think that's an important thing to bring up. For the last year or so, the U.S. hasn't been allowing DJI drone products to come in. We are working on hopefully getting that to change soon. I know the government and representatives from DJI are doing things to fix that, but hopefully we will see resolve in there. Until then, you have brands like Hover Air, Potensic, and now the new anti-gravity drone that just came out from Insta360. So there are so many products on the market that you can get and invest in that'll still offer you a really awesome and unique and fun experience. There are different styles of drones out there, but the one that we're going to be talking about and looking at today is the quadcopter. So the So the quadcopter is the most commonly sold model on the consumer level of drones. But if you're looking to get into drones that aren't necessarily a quadcopter, there's a few that you can look at. The single rotor, which looks like a typical helicopter. The quadcopter, which is the most popular style of drone sold on a consumer level. The FPV drone, it needs goggles to fly, but typically only comes as a quadcopter. The Cinedrone flies as a quadcopter, but has a high quality camera and tracking feature. The hexacopter, a 6-bladed copter, great for filming and stability in the air. Fixed wing rotor, more of a plane experience, great for people who want less of that copter experience and more of a plane-like experience. Now when it comes to drones, it's important to remember that there will be a controller that is associated with the product that you're getting. Some of the drones might say that you can use your phone to fly, others will say it needs a controller, and some will offer a cross-hybrid where you'll use both. But for the most part, these drones that we're looking at today will require a real controller and your phone. Now depending on that, there are two models of those styles of controllers. There is the one that has the built-in screen, the one that requires the phone. Built-in screen is really great. There's nothing that the one with the phone can't do, or vice versa. Nothing that the one with the screen can do that the phone can't. So don't be alarmed with either one. Really it comes down to cost. The one with the built-in screen is more expensive than the one without. So depending on how much more money you want to spend or invest into this setup, that also could dictate what you're going to do. Controllers, though, have control over these functions. Everyone does it a little bit different, but these are the things that you most likely will see on any level of drone that you purchase from any of the different companies. Control sticks. One joystick will control your up and down movement as well as rotation. The other will control front and backward, side to side. Antennas. Point them outwards. These are the connection point between the drone and the controller. Gimbal dial. It's the rotational control over the drone's camera. The record button. Clicking this will record and take picture. You have a focus and shutter dial. This will give you refocus on what you're filming and shooting. It'll also give you control over the shutter. And then the RTH button, which gives you the ability to send the drone back to the place it took off from. I always recommend just don't use this on a moving object. I have since done more research and updates on the drones. People will say that if you hit the return to home button, it's going to go back to where you took off from and land. On open water, it could be a problem. If you're moving in an object, it could be a problem. But I have seen other ways where it doesn't do that, and it will go back to wherever the controller is. So do a little research, make sure your drone is fully up to date, and check its software to see if it has that functionality and ability. On the screen as you're going to see distance from you and the drone, altitude of drone. You're going to have the ability to switch between photo and video, the map of the geofencing and surrounding area, active track, cancel and start, the RTH return to home button, and then the immediate land. So this is the, I'd say, boring part, but a very important part of drones. It's to understand the government and flying and what that all entails. So the FAA, or geofencing, is what we're talking about when we talk about this. The FAA is the Federal Aviation Association. They are the ones that control and watch and patrol the drones and how they're working. If your drone is under 249 grams, you technically do not need a permit of any kind to fly the drone unless you're doing it for business or commercial pay. If your drone is above the 249 grams, then technically you do need to register your drone. That can be accessed on the FAA.gov website and costs about $5. Includes a course and some information that needs to be read. After completion, you must clearly write out the permit number on the drone, and then you're good to go. Now, if you are planning on using this drone for business, work, or for pay, you need to register for what's called Part 107. If you're doing the Part 107, you pay about $175. You take a course on flying, and after completion, you can now do commercial or business-based work with your drone. It's important that you do that for licensing, for insurance. Again, it's just to make sure that you are protected in case anything were to happen. Geofencing, on the other hand, is important to remember because it's a virtual wall within your drone. The drone will not allow you to push forward or fly in this area. Typically, the fencing exists by airports, government buildings, national parks, and certain cities and properties. Again, some quick clips to show off why I think drones are awesome, why they're useful. There's a lot of different things and purposes that you can get out of them. But again, they're great tools for hitting different heights, for exploring and seeing parts of the world that we've never seen, for recording video at such a great rate at great distances and speeds. There's a lot of reasons for why you might want to use a drone. If you are someone who's getting in the professional photography landscape, this is a great tool to add to your arsenal to really increase the value of your video and your production. So I highly would recommend getting involved and learning more about it. Camcorders or FX cameras, I think, are the next big one to talk about. This is a strictly video-centric camera. And a lot of people ask within these cameras, can I still take photo? A lot of them, yes. I would say almost all of them will give you the ability to take a photo or to remove a singular slide from wherever it is you're doing. Now, while there isn't a lot of uniqueness and craziness to camcorders, there are things to still talk about that you should know via the controls. Starting with the power button, the record button, zoom toggle, focus button, photo button, focus knob or dial, the iris or aperture control, shutter speed, white balance, and playback controls. These are the standard controls that are on camcorders that are more video-centric to what it is that you're trying to do. Not to say that you can't find these on your standard DSLR or mirrorless camera, but again, these are the controls that the camcorders boast and strongly push forward for you to update and change. Important things that you should be checking as you're going through with your camcorder and getting it off the ground, starting with video quality, setting your camera for HD, 4K, or any other qualities your camera is capable of. Image stabilization, setting your camera to have image stabilization on will ensure you have a non-shaky video. Face detection. Most camcorders will have an auto face detection, which depending on what you're filming can help keep humans in focus. Frame rate, the rate at which you're capturing frames for your video. Lesser rate, better for simple videos. So standard. videos, faster rate for sports, action, or slow-mo. Bit rates, this is the setting that will helps your camera take in information. The higher the bit rate, the more info the camera is taking in. Exposure control controls the darkness or lightness of your video. Why use camcorders? I don't have clips of this because for the most part, if you're watching a video that someone's putting together and they're using professional camera equipment or video-centric equipment, then they're most likely using what you're seeing. And for that reason, if you watch YouTube or you're watching some of your favorite videos being made, most of these guys are using cinema-forward cameras to achieve and get the best results, just like what you're seeing here. Could be color correction, could be the portability of the travel, the accessories that lend themselves to be more professional, but could be as entry-level and easy for hobbyists too. There's a lot of reasons for why using a camcorder could be beneficial. Lastly, 360 cameras. Now, as 360 cameras are a unique camera, use case-wise for professional work, I don't have a lot of options or things to say on that matter. But when it does come to 360 cameras, they are unique, they're fun, and they're really cool for those who are trying to get a unique perspective, but also a good quality video while being unique. They're going to work and function like almost all other action cameras that you've seen, except these will have two 180-degree firing cameras. It can work with just one or both cameras. It can make or hide the selfie stick, so it makes it invisible through stitch technology. Creates a third-person view unlike other cameras. Videos can be viewed in complete entirety with a VR headset. They're small, they're compact, and they're durable as well too. So these things are awesome. They're great to use and to have. Definitely would recommend a 360 camera for people looking for one. When using the 360 camera, they have a motto of shoot first, think later. And that's a really good example of the top left corner image. You can see the figure dragging across the screen. Using the app from Insta360, you're able to set viewpoints or focus points, swivel around, and the camera can change its perspective at a drop of a hat. It's a really cool and unique feature that allows you to change and to create amazing videos. What's fun too is the app is super user-friendly, has AI features to help you as well, tools to customize, to make sure you change color properly. There's a lot of cool features through that Insta360 app. And at the end of the day too, you can also force perspective, just like you see in the top right corner, where you're seeing everything that the camera's getting, but just from this weird fisheye point of view. So why use an Insta360 camera or a 360 camera in general? I don't have a professional use case. I think that they're really cool. If you are a content creator, someone trying to get more and more into video, I think that these could be a good option for you, especially if you're looking to make lighthearted or fun or explorative content. There's cool reasons for that. Maybe that this would be a good gift for someone who's a younger kid or an adult who's trying to, make videos or makes fun videos already. A lot of cool reasons for why you could get one of these and add this to your camera arsenal. So, and folks, that's all I have for you. This was really a lighter class. There's not too much to talk about today. Again, next Thursday is going to be January 1st, New Year's Day. We are not going to be having a class, unfortunately. So instead, we'll be teaching our class on Monday. January 29th will be our intro to cameras. I'll sit around for a little bit. If anybody has any other questions for me, now would be the time to ask. I'll answer those live for us. it doesn't look like anybody has questions for me at this time. So we will end the class there. I just want to take the time to wish everybody happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you might celebrate, and if you do celebrate. Thanks for taking the time to spend with me. This is one of the last classes that we'll have until the new year. But thank you guys, as always, for joining. I hope you enjoy your holidays. Hope you enjoy your time with your family, your friends. If you need anything from us here at Apt Electronics, feel free to reach out to myself or to the camera department, Small Electronics, and we'll get you taken care of. Everybody have a great night. Stay safe. And as always, keep shooting. I'll see everybody after